Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Keeping Up With Conspicuous. Today, I am joined by José, who is going to be speaking about a very important subject, predominantly around mentorship, which I think is a big thing. But I'm super excited. Obviously, we know each other prior to this, so it's nice to have a friendly, smiley face on here. But how are you?
Yes, all good, all good. And you, Lucy?
I'm good. As we've just discovered, there is blue skies, so things
Yeah,
are
yeah,
looking
yeah. We cannot
looking.
complain this week in London.
We cannot.
Yes.
But for those, I know a fair few people will know your face, hopefully. But for those that don't really know about your background and what it is you're currently doing, let's start with that for everyone.
Okay, okay, let's do that. So I am José Azevedo. My actual role is Senior Solution Architect. I work in KPMG in London, and I did all my career in consulting. So since I left uni, I start on a very small consulting firm. And since then, I transitions, companies, jobs. I live in different countries, different cities, but I did all the time business applications in the consulting side. Besides that, I am very active on community events, and what I like to say that is beside my professional side, I am personally a dad of twins, a boy and a girl. This year I will celebrate 25 years of marriage with my wife.
Wow,
Um,
congrats.
yeah. I am a very sports person. I like to do sports. I am also volunteer in the different things. And if you don't learn today nothing about mentorship and collaboration, maybe you can ask something about food and drinks, because I am a food and drinks lover.
Absolutely. Food and drink is always a great topic. I think we
Yeah,
could definitely do a podcast all about that, and that would
yeah,
be great. But hey, look, you've been within the industry for so long. I remember the first time that I met you at my first ever community group, and you were doing a presentation with your son, actually, weren't you?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, that was
yes,
a really good presentation. So that was the
yes.
first time I met you. And I think what I just love about you is every presentation you do or every talk that you do, you just always let everyone know more about you as a person. Like, I think it's very good to get the materials across for the type of learning and everything, but it's always nice that you always tie in things that you like and bits about you, because it just
Mhm.
makes you a very personal person in the community. So yeah, always love your sessions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
No worries. So obviously, we want to cover a few topics today that we think is important. And in a nutshell, is collaboration and mentorship
Mhm.
within the D365 space. So let's kick start at any point you want to start at, and let's just get chatting about it and the importance of it.
Yeah. So a funny thing about my career is um, the way that I described that I was all the time in consulting and I changed cities and I changed jobs. It seems to be very planned, but in fact, it just happened with some planning. But I was not sure, for example, 10 years ago that I will move to another country. And
Yeah.
these things just happen in a good way with some planning, but not as a full time career. And to be fair, before I came to the UK and I worked several years in Portugal, that is where I am from, mentorship is not a big thing. And
Okay.
when I moved to the UK, and probably because I joined an organization that provides some tools for mentorship, it was like a new thing for me.
Yeah.
And I just, when I start to do on the two ways, so to be a mentor, but also to be a mentee. So I am a big fan of both ways. So I have amazing mentors that help me on my journey, and I also provide the best I can some mentorship to some mentees. And I just realized that is a tool that a lot of times is free, and if we are on it, we can learn both ways so much. And when I look back, I would say that the mentorship itself is something that is difficult to do,
Yeah.
because suddenly the professional and the technical side is optional. It's all about relationships, all about giving some advice, some options, some trusted opinions on an open way. And this part is difficult because my background is a lot more technical. But I love so much to do it that I think that is a never ending story for me. When I look back for my personal background, um, I think that there were few things that helped me to be the mentor that I am today. So
Okay.
first, when I was teen, I played volleyball, and it is a sports team.
Yeah.
So in volleyball, there is not the best scorer or the best player. It's a team. And
Yeah.
on that moment in time, because it was high competition, I just was happy to play the sport that I love. But it gave me so many lessons to collaborate with the team in difficult situations, losing games, winning games, all these type of things. The second thing that I believe that it was the biggest one to be a mentor was to be a dad, because on the corporate environment is difficult to learn the things how to be a mentor. But when we become a dad, uh, all the parents knows what I mean, that to have kids that depend on us and to give some good advice is something that becomes more natural. And it was not something, of course, that when I have my twins with my wife, we I didn't thought about that, but it helps me. And a lot of times, like you mentioned, Lucy, presenting with my son on a Microsoft event is another example of that. And finally, a learning from my mom, that is, if we give someone something without expecting nothing in return, we receive a lot more. And mentorship and collaborating is all about that. So when we give our time, when we give our best advice, at the end of the day, we receive so much in return. So I would say that on a probably not very organized way that I describe, this is my background to go into the journey of the mentorship and collaboration.
Definitely. I think it's so nice. And literally, as I said at the start, everything you always relate back to is always real life things or to do with like you personal lives. And I think it's very easy in technical roles and in IT roles to always relate it back to that field. And I think that's why it's so refreshing hearing your outlook and how actually like your family plays such an important factor to it. Your personal hobbies like sports and volleyball have played a massive like input into how you've created your IT
Mhm.
career. No one's ever come on the podcast and sort of intertwined personal and work life like that. And I think it's a really beautiful way to put it forward. And I think people don't think about how much of an impact those things in life
Yeah.
do have on your work career. And I think it's absolutely, yeah, absolutely lovely to hear. So thank you for being so honest about your actual personal life in the industry. It really does help. Um, what was interesting is obviously you mentioned that in Portugal before you moved here that there wasn't really that mentorship available. Why do you think potentially, I mean, it could have obviously that was 7 years ago, as you said, it could have evolved a little bit
Yeah.
more. You know, if you've gone back and noticed it's evolved and there is those facilities available. But why do you think some people don't have that around?
So I would say that is a culture thing,
Okay.
um, for the organizations and for the corporate environment. But I will start with a funny thing. We don't have a Portuguese word for mentee. We don't
Really?
have. No, we don't have. We can have
Wow.
a thing. We don't have. The mentee word in Portuguese does not exist. We have mentor, is the same word. So in Portuguese is mentor. Uh,
Yeah,
we just pronounce on a different way, but we don't have a word for mentee. And is not something that is very common and so organized, like in the UK. And as I said at the beginning, it was a big learning, really, because when you don't know, you don't think about it. And
yeah,
it was my case. So even if I have a very open conversations or difficult conversations one to one and the teams and the groups, it was not with the style that we stop the work and we close to talk about mentorship to help someone. This style of things never happened in my career. And in Portugal, I have different experience. So I work on a well-established consulting firm, also on a startup. We have customers that are very big, and it never happened. So I was surprised on a very good way when I moved to London and to the UK to see that it is a topic, and if we are open to embrace it, there are a lot of things that we can do.
definitely. And there's obviously two different sides to it. You've got the internal mentorship, which is within your companies, which I think is definitely becoming more available, and a lot more people are taking on the role of a mentorship, as a mentor, sorry.
Yeah.
And then a lot more people are putting themselves out there to say they want to be a mentee like that. I think it's quite available nowadays. And then obviously you've got the people taking their time outside of work to put into other people as well, and doing that mentorship outside of work. And I know lots of different people that have, because I don't know, obviously you said you were a mentee and you had a few mentors.
Mhm.
um were they internal, external, a little bit of a mix? What worked for you?
So probably I will describe and I will answer to your question, Lucy, to explain a little bit the programs that I am involved with.
Yeah, that'd be
So internally, I won't refer the names of the programs, but I am very involved on a program that is mentorships to have more females in IT. This is an
amazing.
internal program that is run in KPMG. I also am involved on another program that is when we can mentor some graduates and some junior people. The common thing to say. And outside of my organization, I am mentor on a big mentorship program that is Women in Dynamics, that is
Okay.
organized by Direction for Partners, the organizers of Days of Knowledge and the Directions.
Yeah.
And this is very international. I am also involved on a US program that is called Women in Power, that starts with the Power Platform, and it's again to provide some mentorship to females in the IT. I am also mentor in a local school where I live, and this one is organized by my company, and I have two mentees of year 9,
Oh
and this
wow.
to explain how it is an interview, how to prepare a CV, what can they think about looking forward to have a job. Internally, there is also a small one that is called Shadow Days, that a person from other department shadow us during few days just to learn how it is working on a different position. And finally, the last one, when I am mentor and mentee, is across. company organization from my company, and we can have mentors and mentees from other organizations. And I ran last year, and I had an amazing mentor from a competitor, believe or not. We compete in the market. It's an IT firm, and we compete. And our journey during 1 year was amazing. And now the program finished, and I have a new mentor. We start our journey in Feb, and it's going very well. And I like to say that when we are mentor, we should be the senior when um, the senior for more junior people, because when we are junior, we cannot see the other side. But sometimes I strongly believe that when we become more senior, we are still very junior, because in my company, I can say that I am a little bit senior, but if I look for my career in other types of organizations, I am very junior. So I am not a CEO. I do not belong to a C-suite. So in in that side of the things, to be senior for graduates does not mean that we are senior all the time. I am very junior in a lot of things. And I strongly believe that if we have this approach to the mentorship and collaboration, we are always learning. And I learned so much from my mentors.
Definitely. I think, yeah, that's a really, really key point. Um, and because the IT world is constantly evolving, mentors will never die out, because you're always going to need someone, and someone can will always help, and there'll be new things to learn, etc. Obviously, from what you've just said, I didn't realize how much of a breadth of mentorship there was, and the different sort of areas you've tapped
Mhm.
into with it, which is amazing. I am just going to look at one of the comments, and I can't, it just says LinkedIn user, not one of the names. But someone has asked whether they've said, do you do mentorship for experienced professionals who are now outside of the United Kingdom on a remote basis? Is there opportunities for people in that situation?
Yes.
Perfect.
So this program that is Women in Dynamics is completely international,
Wow.
and there is. And I believe that if it is, this question is from a person that is looking for a mentor, I think that if we take the step of reaching out someone that inspired us, even on social media, and if we have this idea of asking the help of someone to be mentor, I think that probably you won't receive a yes for all the contacts, but I am sure that most of the people will be happy to help.
Absolutely.
So I still remember that before COVID, I was on employment forum, and I was talking about mentorship. And because it was a small room of 10 people, 15, I just offer, if you are looking for a mentor, I can offer you 1 hour of my time per month. And on the back of that class of 15, I received two that came to me, oh, can you be my mentor? And we work alongside during 1 year. And it was free, and it was something that just happened. So if it is someone looking for a mentor, I would say be brave, look for the persons that inspired you, and try, because it's not the no is guarantee, but you probably will receive a yes, and you will start a relationship with someone that can help you.
100%. It's just having that confidence to do so. And there definitely is mentorship programs out there that are international. I think are you aware of Mark Smith?
Yeah.
In Yeah, obviously he does an international mentorship program as well. So,
Yeah.
there's so much in this industry, whether it be in person, remote, whatever suits. I think there will always be something there for you. But I think, as you said, you'll always have that person you look up to in the industry, and it's just having that confidence to reach out to them
Mhm.
and see. They might not have all the time in the world, but they might be able to just give you some advice or just something, which is always worthwhile. Now, one thing we did want to talk about is, obviously, this probably ties into the mentorship courses as well, but you're in a technical role, you're a solution architect, and technical roles, you end up having a lot of technical jargon that you have to
Mhm.
talk. But obviously, you're speaking to people and you are engaging with people on a day-to-day basis. And one of the things you're quite passionate about is being able to speak with people on
Mhm.
a people basis
Yeah.
instead of just technical. So from your perspective, how have you sort of overcome that and been able to be able to have that people skills as such?
Okay. So I I need to be honest, my approach to this is not probably the most common one in the industry. But I believe that a strong leader and a strong professional are the ones that can transform the techie part into common language that the others can understand.
Yeah,
And when we are talking about a developer or a C suite person, sometimes there is a gap, not on the tech side, but on the language.
yeah,
And my role is a lot of times trying to translate that language that sometimes is different depending on the skills of the people. I strongly believe that we should look for the soft skills to guarantee that we can be approachable, that we can create a connection with the other side, that the other people are active listening us and not just saying yes and not understanding. I believe that this is what makes a good person to an outlier.
yeah,
And I believe that is very difficult because it's not something that we read a book or we watch a TED talk or we ask AI and we are there. No, the soft skills are very difficult, but I think that when we define our goals to improve, we need to include the soft skills there, and after there is a journey. So there is a quote from Simon Sinek, that is a professional that I really follow and I like, that he says all the time that the important things about leadership is that we should be humble to be on a journey that we are always learning to be a better leader. And I believe on that. So every day for me, it's a learning day, and I focus a lot, probably a lot more on the soft skills than on the hard skills of the techie. Because let's be honest, if we don't know how to do something that is very technical, today we can use AI, we can watch YouTube, we can search on blogs, and more or less we will find a solution.
yeah.
How to talk and to touch the people, how to convince on a pitch that we are the best ones and win the competitors. This is another level because it's not only the technical solution, is to have the trust from the other side, and this is all about soft skills in my view.
I 100% agree with you. I think, yeah, the soft skills are so overlooked sometimes by people, and people are so motivated and excited to learn all the tech stuff, but 70% of it is going to come from that soft skills. And from your perspective, um have you found getting involved with community events and talking at them, have you found that sort of helped that side of the soft skills at all? Because I know you're very involved, and it's great to see you put yourself forwards and have these amazing talks. Obviously, you dive into the technical side, but you also do all these talks about what we're talking about today because it's such an important topic. But have you found having that confidence and being able to speak to a room full of people, and you don't know their abilities, whether they're technical or I'm sat in the room where I'm sat more non-technical, Has that helped with your day-to-day work, do you find?
Yes, a lot, a lot.
Yeah.
So to be honest, Lucy, the language, and for the fact that I lived so many years in Portugal and I moved 7 years ago, the language sometimes is still a barrier for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we are trying to say the right words on the right order and having also the language barrier in the middle, sometimes does not help.
Yeah.
And if we are trying to get the attention of the people or the trust of the people, is not only about the solution, the message, is all about the rest of it. And for the fact that I am involved in community events that has this spirit of being volunteer, free, there is no silly questions there. If you are in attending a session and you raise your hand, is very open. You start to know a lot of people that come over and over and over. I think that it helps a lot because, believe or not, in my personal corner in my life, I am a shy person.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And everything that you can see me on these podcasts or pitch or whatever has a lot of planning on my hand because
Yeah.
I am not like that. I am not like that if I am on the beach and I am drinking something. I am not that type of person. But my job and my role ask me to be like that. And this is the proof that is possible in a way. I can improve a lot more, of course, but the community was a tool that I use also to be myself more comfortable doing that. So it
I
helps a lot.
Yeah, I just love the way you put things across when you're discussing all of this. I never would have guessed you were more of a shy person, but that just proves how well you come across when you're doing all of these things. So thank you so much for coming on. If it's stepping out of the comfort zone a little bit, it's much appreciated. But I think a lot of people will resonate with you as well. It's such an international community. We've got people from all over the world coming, well, either to the UK, or some people go to Portugal or Malta, wherever it may be in the world. And not only have you got the technical skills, the soft skills, but as you said, if your native language is Portuguese, you're having to overcome that communication barrier. And you know, us Brits are a lot lazier than people from different countries, and we don't put the effort in to learn new languages. We must get better at that. But you've come over, you're so clear with your communication, which obviously you would have had to have learned, of course. But I just think a lot of people are going to resonate with this podcast to show that it isn't easy, but it can become easy if you just have that little bit of confidence to speak to someone in the community like yourself, and just have that mentor to help guide through those little
Yeah.
business bumps with yourself. But it's amazing.
I won't say easy. Does not become easy, but we will get better on it. So I still
Definitely.
remember that last year, a colleague that we have in Spain, Roberto, just challenged me to present one session that he attended in an international event, to do it in Spanish. And the Portuguese, with a little effort, can speak Spanish. And I
Yes.
said, no, 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 I won't do that. And he said, no, we need someone like you. And after I said yes, and I was not able to sleep on the day before. So to say that is easy is not the right word, but we
Okay.
will get more used to it.
There we go. Thank you for correcting me. No, it definitely, it's just interesting to hear it from your perspective. But, you've done so much for the community. And I know there's going to be people that watching that may reach out, and I'm sure they're welcome to reach out to you for any advice. But, keep doing you, because it is great what you're doing at the moment. And I'm excited to see you at more events, that's for sure. So, I know we've sort of covered the mentorship side of things and collaborating with events and the importance of those soft skills within your job role, is there any roundup or thoughts that you would like to leave everyone with before we say our goodbyes?
Yeah. So I would say that I would like to summarize in two parts.
Yeah.
The first one is when we started a journey with a mentor or with a mentee, there needs to be a spark, there needs to be a connection.
Yeah.
And it's fine to admit that sometimes it's not working and we need to change.
Okay.
So if someone is watching and is looking for a mentor or a mentee and somehow does not work, it's like life. Sometimes does not work and we need to try to find something else. So I have situations that I try to be the best mentor and didn't work. I was not able to provide what this person was looking for. So it happened to me. It can happen to everyone, of course. So I would say that this is important to be in mind. The second part is I know that probably most of the people that are watching this podcast are looking for me more like a person that I am most of the time as mentor. But as I said, I am also mentee. So I would like to finalize to thank you to some names that I will say that are amazing mentors, not only in my career, but on my professional life. So Carlos, Ezreal, Neil, Daniel, Alonso, John, and on the personal side, of course, my wife, Nocas, and my son, João, and my daughter, Matilde. And probably sometimes some of the people can look for my family as they are not my mentors. My wife is for sure. My son and daughter, they are a big part of the collaboration on this journey of living in another country.
Definitely. No, I think, yeah, I just absolutely love that your personal and professional life come hand in hand, and just it's just nice to hear people even say that their family has been part of that journey, and for you to be so open about the different mentors you've had. And as you said, although people may see you as a mentor, you are a mentee, and you take on board other people's help and advice, and that's how you're doing so well in your career. And I wish you all the best in your career moving forwards, because you're an asset within this industry. Now, we always finish on a final question, and
Okay.
I think, you know, maybe the answer will be that you want to be a world champion volleyball player. We don't know. Let's find out. But if you were not a solution architect and you could not work within the IT industry, what job would you be doing?
Okay, so if you ask that question, when I was volleyball, it was to be professional volleyball player. I still remember to have this conversation with my mom and dad, and they advised me not to follow that. um, I would say that probably the more that I work, it will be on this area of coaching, mentorship, um, probably a little bit of collaboration on the side of managing projects, even outside IT. I would say that it will be like that. If it
Okay.
was not like that, on a funny side, probably traveling the world and trying different foods and restaurants and hotels. I am
I can
very good on that.
Absolutely. That sounds very fun, but I could definitely see you, outside of the IT carrying on this mentorship. Maybe like a life coach or something. I don't know. You're a very calming person when you talk to you, so you'd do well with that. But yeah, food tasting, hotel, trials, great. On board with that too. Um, but it's been so lovely to have you on, and so lovely to catch up, because I haven't been to an event this year yet, so I need to get down and come to one. But it's so lovely to catch up with you. I'm sure if we get any other comments come through, or if people ask any questions, we can respond afterwards. But enjoy the rest of your day. And then for everyone else listening, we will obviously be back next week for our usual weekly episodes. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, Lucy.
See you later.
See you.